Hey everyone, it's Jeff of Dream Drive. Supercars, they're all about pushing the limits of speed, technology, and of course design. But sometimes those design choices can be a little polarizing. You know, the kind of car that makes you scratch your head and say, what were they thinking? But here's the thing about design. What's considered outrageous today could become iconic tomorrow. We've seen it time and time again in the automotive world. Cars that were initially met with raised eyebrows and skepticism, only to be celebrated as design masterpieces years later. Today, we're going to take a look at some of those cars. We're talking about the supercars that were once considered the ugly ducklings of the automotive world, but over time have transformed into beautiful swans. Get ready to dive into some controversial design choices, surprising transformations, and the stories behind these automotive icons. Supercars often push the boundaries of design, but not all of them are initially loved. Today we're diving into some of the most controversial supercar designs that have aged beautifully. Our first stop takes us back to the 1970s, a time of bell-bottoms, disco, and the birth of one of the most audacious supercars ever, the Lamborghini Countach. Now, the Countach is a legend, an icon, a poster child for bedroom walls everywhere. But believe it or not, when it first debuted, it was a radical departure from the norm. I mean, just look at this thing. This was unlike anything anyone had ever seen on the road. It was low, wide, and that wedge shape. The Countach's design was all about pushing the boundaries of aerodynamics and performance. It was the brainchild of Marcello Gandini at Bertone, and they threw out the rulebook when they designed this car. Those upward swinging doors, known as scissor doors, weren't just for show. They were actually designed because the Countach's insanely wide chassis made getting in and out with regular doors nearly impossible. And then there was the rear visibility, or lack thereof. Let's just say backing up in a Countach was not for the faint of heart. But all of these quirks, all of these design elements that seemed so out there at the time, they came together to create a car that was unlike anything else on the road. The Countach was pure, unadulterated automotive drama, and it turned heads everywhere it went. Next up, we're jumping ahead to the 1990s with the Ferrari F50. Now, the F50 had some big shoes to fill. It was the successor to the legendary F40, a car that many considered to be one of the greatest Ferraris of all time. So when the F50 debuted in 1995, expectations were sky high. But here's the thing, the F50 wasn't just a different car than the F40, it was a different beast altogether. You see, while the F40 was all about raw, turbocharged power and analog thrills, the F50 took a more technologically advanced approach. It was designed to be a Formula One car for the road, with a screaming V12 engine mounted directly to the chassis, just like a race car. But its design was met with mixed reviews. Some people loved its sleek, futuristic lines, while others found it to be a bit too understated compared to the in-your-face F40. The F50's design was all about function over form. Every curve, every vent, every line was there for a reason, to improve aerodynamics and performance. But some critics felt it lacked the visual drama of its predecessor. It didn't have the massive rear wing or the aggressive stance that made the F40 so instantly recognizable. Now, let's talk about a car that was truly divisive when it first came out. The Porsche 996 generation of the 911. This was a pivotal car for Porsche. It was the first all-new 911 since the original, and it introduced water-cooled engines to the lineup, a move that was met with a mix of excitement and trepidation from Porsche purists. But the most controversial aspect of the 996's design was undoubtedly those headlights. Porsche opted to ditch the classic round headlights that had been a hallmark of the 911 for decades in favor of a more modern integrated design. The problem was these new headlights, with their somewhat oblong shape, earned the nickname fried egg headlights and became the subject of much debate among Porsche enthusiasts. Some people hated them, finding them to be a betrayal of the 911's design heritage. Others warmed up to them over time, appreciating the fact that they gave the 996 a more distinctive look. But love them or hate them, those headlights were certainly a talking point. I remember when the 996 came out. Okay, buckle up. because we're about to enter the realm of true automotive weirdness with the Aston Martin Lagonda. This car, oh boy, this car was like nothing else on the road when it debuted in 1976. I mean, just look at it. It's like a spaceship on wheels. The Lagonda was Aston Martin's attempt to create a futuristic luxury sedan, and they certainly succeeded in making a statement. Its design was incredibly polarizing, with its ultra-sharp lines, low-slung profile, and those pop-up headlights that looked like they belonged on a science fiction movie set. The interior was equally out there, featuring digital instruments and touch-sensitive controls, which were incredibly advanced for the time, but notoriously unreliable. The Lagonda's design was definitely not for everyone. It was angular, it was unconventional, and it was about as far away from the traditionally elegant Aston Martins as you could get. But despite its quirks, or maybe because of them, the Lagonda has become a cult classic over the years. Finally, let's wrap things up with a car that's gone from being a bit of a head-scratcher to a certified modern classic, the BMW Z8. When it debuted in 1999, the Z8 was a bit of an enigma. It was a retro-styled roadster that drew inspiration from the iconic BMW 507 of the 1950s, but it also had these futuristic elements that made it clear this was a thoroughly modern machine. Those flared wheel arches, the long hood, the low-slung stance. It all screamed classic sports car. But then you had those strange neon turn signal strips on the front fenders and a somewhat controversial interior design that some people found to be a bit too minimalist. The Z8 was a car that divided opinions. Some people loved its blend of retro cues and modern design, while others found it to be a bit too derivative and lacking in personality. But over time, the Z8 has aged like fine wine. Its design has become more appreciated, and its status as a future classic has been solidified. Perhaps it was just ahead of its time, or maybe it just took people a while to warm up to its unique blend of old and new. So there you have it, 5 supercars that prove that sometimes the line between automotive genius and automotive madness is a fine one. These cars, with their controversial designs and polarizing aesthetics, dared to be different. They challenged the norms and pushed the boundaries of what a supercar could be. And you know what? Over time, many of them have come to be appreciated for their boldness, their uniqueness, and their willingness to break the mold. What once seemed outlandish or even ugly has transformed into something beautiful and iconic. It's a reminder that design is subjective, and what's considered beautiful is always evolving. What do you think about these supercar transformations? Let me know in the comments below which one surprised you the most. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more automotive adventures. Thanks for watching. These supercars prove that sometimes it takes a little time for true beauty to be recognized. Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.